Welcome, Hudson Valley. This is Conor Walsh, host of In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. This week on In Touch, we have Brooke Anthony, founder of Chloe Lois Jewelry. Brooke and I discuss how her travels across the country helped inspire her business, which is set up here in Hyde Park. Her incredible story is one of self-discovery, and we dive into her Hudson Valley roots, the love story that created Chloe Lois, her insane connection with Elvis Presley, and so much more. We invite you to join us and listen to a previously recorded conversation between Brooke and myself here on In Touch. Thank you for all the kind words shared in regard to In Touch officially being awarded the 2023 New York State Broadcasters Association Award for Outstanding Public Affairs Programmer Series as part of the 57th Annual Excellence in Broadcasting Awards. This recognition would not be possible without the incredible team here at Townsquare, all of our phenomenal guests that we learn and grow with every single week, and of course you, the listener. Whether you've been listening for a while or you just found us, thank you for taking part in the conversation and staying in touch with what's going on in the Hudson Valley. We here at In Touch are all about, well, being in touch with what's going on in the Hudson Valley. What better way to stay in touch with what's going on than by downloading the Townsquare Media mobile app for this radio station? Not only can you listen to this station live at any time using the app, but you can also listen to In Touch on demand. Besides In Touch, you can read daily articles about news, events, entertainment, and more that's going on in your community. And when the weather gets bad, you can use the app to check on weather reports and see which roads, schools, and organizations are closed. Your Townsquare Media app is the best place for concert tickets and events as well. We're constantly giving away tickets to the hottest shows in the area. Again, you'll have access to all of this if you just download the Townsquare Media mobile app for this radio station. In Touch is nothing without the support of the hundreds of listeners that we get on a weekly basis. Thank you so much for listening and taking part in the conversation. If you listen to In Touch through a podcast service such as Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a positive review. With more 5-star reviews on these platforms, the algorithms will work hard to promote our show and bring In Touch to new people. That and also sharing In Touch with your friends and family is so important. Just sharing our links and listening live each Sunday goes such a long way. Thank you for all you do to stay in touch with what's going on in the Hudson Valley. Hello, Hudson Valley. You're listening to another edition of In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. We got a great episode for you guys today and a really awesome story. I feel like this is one of those things, especially when you're growing up in the Hudson Valley. The Hudson Valley is what you know, but this is somebody that has really traveled around the U.S., been able to create something of herself, of this company that she started, and her products are all over the world too. And it's just so cool talking to her a moment ago, hearing about some of these things that we're going to get into in this episode. Mind-blowing. And I think you're really going to love this. With us today, we have founder of Chloe Lois, Brooke Anthony. Brooke, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right. Really happy to have you in here. Love the energy that you're already bringing. So that's exciting.
I try to bring a lot of energy wherever I go.
I try.
Yeah.
Perfect. And you are no stranger to being behind the microphone. Before we get into Chloe Lois and everything, I want to touch on your radio roots. This is not your first time in a studio like this.
It is not. No, it's not. I used to be on 96.1 KISS FM while I was in college. I was on the night show with Shrek.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
To be honest, I probably heard several of those night shows with you, more than likely. I'm trying to remember that with Shrek and everything. I remember certain clips and everything. It's like, that was probably you.
It was probably me. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Yeah, it was definitely, I was a comm major. I went to Dutchess Community College and I went to Marist and I studied communications. And broadcasting was really my focus. And I started as a promotions assistant over at what used to be Clear Channel.
Yep.
It's now iHeartMedia. And don't tell it's a competitor, obviously. I'm
no.
sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry for coming in here and talking about a competitor.
How dare you?
But I did promotions, had a lot of fun with that. We used to go to all the bars and the nightclubs and hang out and, promote the radio station, give away stuff, Budweiser T-shirts, fun stuff like that. When you're in college, that kind of stuff is a lot of fun. So did that. Then one day I was asked by Jimmy Jam, the program director, do you want to be on air? We would love to put you on air. And I was like, me? Really? And I was like, sure, why not? And I did it and I loved it. I had a lot of fun.
You got a great personality for it.
Oh,
so
thank you.
I'm sure that it went well and it was great. And it's funny you say with beginning in radio in college, that's when I started. I worked for WEXT in Troy when I was in college. And then eventually I landed here. So I feel you on that. Very similar path. That original journey into communications, I'm sure was able to help you out big time in the career path that you took next. Mm-hmm. And before we get into that, let's backtrack. You were saying you're Hyde Park, born and raised.
I am.
You really went through everything that this area had to offer before you set out on your own. So could you tell us about just being like the hometown person that you are and what that led into?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a hometown girl, Hyde Park, New York, born and raised. I was born in Rhinebeck and lived in Hyde Park. And, you know, I didn't really know what I wanted to do in life. Honestly, after I graduated from FDR, I will never forget walking into Dutchess Community College, just looking at all the pamphlets that they had. And it was like, okay, choose your major. Like, what do you want to do? And I would just go through everything and I'd just be like, this doesn't really strike me. This doesn't really strike me. But then when I hit communications, I was like, okay, like this seems like fun.
Yeah.
You know, I've always had a very outgoing personality and I've always liked to have a lot of fun. And I've always been a little wild. I can be a little wild at times.
There you
I
go.
mean, I've calmed down since I had a baby and now I'm 38. You know, I've always been very outgoing, and going into broadcasting really just seemed like a perfect fit for me. You know, just being a people person.
Yeah.
So then I followed that path all throughout college. Then I went along to Marist and I ended up graduating from Marist with my degree. And then from there, I ventured into the world of sales.
Yeah.
Got out of radio and I ended up working in consumer packaged goods. I helped launch products in many different markets and help manage sales teams for large consumer packaged goods brands.
And that's impressive. And I'm sure those communication skills really came in handy with the sales and everything. But then also you were traveling all across the United States, you were telling me, which that's a dream of mine. I want to be able to travel more. Mm-hmm. I've hit up majority of the East Coast. I really haven't gotten like the Midwest or anything. But like I just hear about somebody traveling around, whether it's pleasure or work. It's just like my eyes light up.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. What was that like as you were traveling around the United States, helping launch these brands, and how that helped give you the skills and the know-how, which eventually led to Chloe and Lois?
Yeah. First of all, traveling was pretty grueling because I was on a different plane every week. So it was pretty tiring after a little while, but I did it because I did love my job and I wanted to advance. But I knew that it really wasn't my end game.
Gotcha.
You know, I loved what I was doing, but I'm like, you know, I feel like there's something's missing. But at the end of the day, I traveled all over the U.S. with my corporate laptop, my corporate cell phone, my personal laptop, and my personal cell phone. And outside of my working hours in my hotel at night, when I was in whichever city I ended up in for the week, and I would work on building Chloe and Lois on the back end.
Oh, wow. That's pretty impressive. So was the idea to make it back home to Hyde Park, to build this kind of Chloe and Lois empire, was that always the idea to settle back down here, or did it matter wherever you eventually settled down?
You know, honestly, at the end of the day, I did not think that Chloe and Lois would be what it is today. Mm-hmm. You know, I kind of started it almost kind of like as a side hustle.
Yeah.
And then it turned into something much more than a side hustle, which I am very, very grateful for, because it served as a magnificent transition into my life and where I'm at this point. It's allowed me to, you know, stay home with my son, raise my son, and do what I love, and that's designing jewelry and building a brand that makes women feel fantastic about themselves.
And that's awesome. And I think I love the story of how, like, you really got into that. You were saying that Chloe and Lois and the designing facet of it all stemmed from getting ready for your wedding.
Yes.
How lovely is that?
Yeah. So my husband and I were over in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. It's our favorite place in the world. We were over there traveling. My husband, boyfriend at the time, had proposed to me. Not even 24 hours after we got engaged, we were in the popular 9th Street shopping area full of boutiques and like restaurants and all these little shops. We walk into this boutique called Sync, and it's mainly jewelry. And I walk in and I see these absolutely gorgeous Swarovski earrings, like they're lever back earrings, just hanging on this display, and all the colors. Like, I'm such a visual person. I love sparkly things. So I see all of these earrings and I'm like, oh, I just like melt over them. Like, these earrings are amazing. And I said to my new fiance, remind you, I haven't even been engaged for 24 hours. Hey, I'm going to buy these earrings to wear on our wedding day and for the bridesmaids. And my husband is the voice of reason. I'm the kind of girl that drives 130 mile per hour zone. And my husband's like, Brooke, you don't even know who's going to be in the wedding. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. So I'm like, all right, I listened to him. And we head home, a few days later. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm going to hold off. I'll look online when I get home. And I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. And I'm a very particular person. So I'm not going to lie, I was a little angry with myself that I had listened to him, because I'm like, you know what? Damn it. Like, I wanted those earrings. I didn't buy them. Now I got to figure out how to get them here. So I actually emailed the designer and I said, listen, I saw your earrings at Sync in the 9th Streets area in Amsterdam. I love them. I want to order them for my bridesmaids for my wedding. I ordered them from the Netherlands.
Amazing.
And had them shipped in, and all my girls wore them on our wedding day. The most important thing is I wanted to give them a piece of jewelry that was functional and can be worn on my wedding day and every day. I didn't want to give them a piece of jewelry that was gaudy, that, really just fit the wedding day and they couldn't wear to work. So I wanted to gift them something memorable, beautiful, and functional. So that's really been the foundation for building Chloe and Lois, is I make sure that everything in the line is super functional and designed for everyday wear.
Yeah, and it was from that early time of, getting everything set for your wedding that you started designing and you started getting into that.
Yep.
And what was that like, the designing feature for you? Did you have much expertise or background in designing at that point?
None at all. And I think that that's the most powerful part of my story.
Yeah.
And I think that if you want to do something and you really put your heart and soul into it, you'll be able to figure it out. You'll be able to figure out a way to make it work. And I was able to make it work. So my one girlfriend was my actual saving grace, because she worked in the jewelry industry. And, I came up to her and I said, listen, Jen, I have a sketchbook full of awful sketches that look like a 4-year-old drew them. I drew them. I'm 35 years old. Well, I was 35 at the time. How do I turn these into wearable pieces? Like, what's the first step? And she's like, okay, well, you got to find yourself a manufacturer. And it's okay that they're awful drawings, because what they'll do is they'll CAD them up for you. They'll turn your drawings into a computer animated drawing, and you'll be able to see a 3D image of the product before they send it to production. So, with a lot of due diligence, and Google was my best friend too.
I'm sure.
Aside from Jen, Google, really helped a girl out. I was able to turn these awful sketches into jewelry that makes women feel incredible about themselves.
And that's amazing. And I'm so excited to talk about what Chloe and Lois is now today.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that in a second. Again, you're listening to In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. We're speaking with Brooke Anthony of Chloe and Lois, talking about her amazing journey of just being this hometown kid turned to somebody who is traveling all across the United States, working in one business to the next, and finally finding the passion in designing and selling jewelry. And it's amazing the kind of of empire that you've been able to create. It is so cool. You're celebrating 5 years as of this year, and I think that is so impressive. But of course, let's talk about the name first of all. Your name is Brooke Anthony, so Chloe and Lois is nowhere to be found in there, so it's not you.
No.
So what is the background with those names? Why those names? Who are they? Were they? And why is it so significant to you?
Well, first, Conor, I want to say thank you for not calling me Chloe.
There you go.
I get called Chloe all the time.
I'm sure.
And it's gotten to a point where, I mean, I don't get mad. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I'm not going to get mad over that. But people call me Chloe all the time. And I've just responded to it now. I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, what? But people ask me all the time, if I'm in a store and I introduce myself to someone looking at Chloe and Lois, they'll say, so are you Chloe or are you Lois? I'm like, I'm Brooke. Sorry. Sorry, that's confusing. But Chloe is, I'm a big dog lover. Oh my gosh, dog lover till I die. Chloe is my late Yorkshire Terrier. I just lost her this past July.
I'm so
It was
sorry.
brutal. Thank you. She was 18 years old.
That's good for a dog.
A lot of love.
That's a good for a dog.
Love went into that dog.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I still miss her terribly. She's my buddy. I know she's with me every day. And also Lois is my late grandmother. So my grandmother gave me my love for jewelry. I always joke and say I was the youngest kid in the world to own QVC Diamondique jewelry.
Oh my God.
Lois was a QVC fanatic. She would sit home and shop QVC. But she would always buy me jewelry, and I'm the kind of girl, when I leave the house, I feel completely naked unless I have a necklace on, pair of earrings, ring, something.
Yeah.
You never leave the house without your jewelry.
No, it's nice. You're wearing lovely pieces today,
Thank
I gotta
you.
say. I'm sure probably something that you sell yourself. So
Yes,
Yep.
yes. So these are my designs. I have my hex hoops on. I do like the mismatched look.
Okay.
I've got, obviously, owning a jewelry company, I have, jewelry trinket trays full on my sink. So I'll just stack them up. The whole vibe of Chloe and Lois is really, jewelry that you can stack, layer, and mix and match. Just have fun with it.
Yeah.
So you can really express your own unique style. So I just threw a bunch of earrings in here. I got a hoop over here. I got 2 hoops in, another hoop over here.
They go well
here.
together. I like it.
Thank you. And this necklace is actually part of my newest Healing Stone launch.
Oh, okay. Tell us about that.
So I did Healing Stones, and everybody is loving them. They love the meaning behind the stones. I did Angel Aura Quartz, which is a stone of joy and positive energy. Citrine, the stone of self-worth. Aquamarine, which has been a top seller, the stone of courage, and also rose quartz, the stone of love, which is actually perfect for Valentine's Day. With Valentine's Day coming up. Yeah.
Definitely something to keep in mind. Also, I feel like I need to connect you with Allison, who works here on WRRV. She loves that kind of stuff.
Okay. Allison, call me.
Yeah, she is going to have a field day if she checks your stuff out. If you guys have a conversation, I could see you guys hitting it off. You guys would probably be really good friends.
Do a jewelry show.
Absolutely.
Put us on.
That'd be fun.
Put us on air.
I'll have to connect you guys. That would be a lot of fun. And it's great that you're able to get these things out there. You're doing such a good job. This is not just, obviously it is a local company. You are based here, but you are all over the place. Besides working with partner retailers around the Hudson Valley, you're all over the place.
I am.
You are more than just here in the Hudson Valley. And that is really impressive in a 5-year span, especially a 5-year span where several of those years were dedicated to the pandemic. So that's incredible. You were able to build like that. Can you tell us about the reach you currently have?
Yeah, absolutely. So Chloe and Lois is currently sold in 40 plus retail partners.
Jeez.
So that is another, side of the business aside from online at chloeandlois.com. So we ship everything from our offices right in Hyde Park. And the retail partners have been amazing to work with. So, for example, in the Hudson Valley area, you have Daffodils over at Eastdale Village. We have Sierra Lily right on Route 9, iconic, gift store in the Hudson Valley.
Lovely places.
Everybody loves Sierra Lily. Adams Poughkeepsie location, Newburgh location, Crossroads. Shout out to Kathleen. Kathleen is amazing. It's been so amazing to build and share Chloe and Lois with my retail partners because they're an extension of my brand, and I just love partnering with local businesses. And it's awesome for my customers who want to see product in store. They can go in and they're supporting Chloe and Lois, and they're also supporting their local business.
And that goes such a long way.
It does.
It's really amazing when, local businesses can support each other, and it really does build, and it gives you a lot of great credibility. It gives a lot of great rapport. So that's awesome that you have that. And in talking about some of your expansions, you mentioned this before. You have a very interesting connection with Elvis of all people, all performers. And
hubba.
Oh yeah, hunka burning low. There we go. But I really love this story because it's just like one of those weird God winks, one of those weird connections where how that happened. And it's fairly recent too.
Yes,
so
it
please
is.
Get into that story. I think it's phenomenal.
Okay, so one of Chloe and Lois's newest retail partners is Lansky Brothers Clothing down in Memphis, Tennessee. My husband and I were watching the Elvis movie and noticed Lansky Brothers Clothing as the clother to Elvis. You see him in the movie going in and out and, getting fitted for suits and his iconic leather outfits he used to wear on stage.
Yep.
And all of a sudden I get an email from none other than Julie Lansky, the granddaughter of the gentleman that would dress Elvis, saying, "Hey, do you have a catalog? I love your stuff. I want it in Lansky Brothers." And I was like, is this for real? Is this for real?
Who was
really?
peeking through your window at the time,
Who is looking through my window and watching what we're watching on Netflix? I'm a little creeped out, but I'm a little excited. It's a mixture of emotions. It's wild. We're on this roller coaster. We're doing it. And I was like, yeah, I'll send you a catalog. And she placed an order. So we got Chloe and Lois straight out of the Hudson Valley going to Lansky Brothers Clothing in Memphis, Tennessee. Hubba hubba, baby.
Well, she couldn't help but fall in love with your jewelry.
I know. Stop. Don't make me blush, Conor.
No, but that's fantastic. And I think that's such a great story. And it just goes to show you that, here you are, somebody here in the Hudson Valley, you were self-made, you were able to create this, and now the reach that you have, I think that's so inspiring for so many people listening right now. And it's a great story to be able to hear, and I think it's phenomenal. Again, you've been listening to In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. We've been speaking with Brooke Anthony of Chloe and Lois Jewelry, talking about the incredible stories that you've had throughout your career in various businesses that led to Chloe and Lois. And I think the best thing to get into right now is where people can find your stuff. You mentioned several of the in-person retailers that they can find you at, but where can they find you online? Do you have social media people should follow you at? Where can people go?
Yeah, absolutely. You can check me out online, chloeandlois.com, CHLOEANDLOIS.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at Chloe and Lois. I'm on Facebook, Chloe and Lois. You're seeing the trend here.
Yep.
And if you'd love to show some of my retail partners some love, you can go to chloeandlois.com, scroll right down to the bottom, and you'll see a detailed map of everybody that carries Chloe and Lois worldwide.
Oh, that's incredible. And also, just want to give a shout out to those healing stones that you put out there as well, the one specifically for love. It's almost Valentine's Day, guys.
It is.
Look that up. I think that's going to be a great thing to look into, and awesome piece of jewelry to show off when you're on your date on Valentine's Day. So
yeah, absolutely.
Definitely check that out. I think that'll be great. Which one is the specific one you have on today?
So I am wearing, this is my signature design. This is the Stardust in Angel Aura Quartz. Okay. So the stone of joy and positive energy, because we can all use a little bit of extra joy and positive energy in our lives, right?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm going for.
It's here in the studio today. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Likewise.
Well, hey, thank you so much, Brooke, for being here on In Touch. Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Same to you.
And congrats to 5 years in
Wonderful.
business.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
This has been this week's edition of In Touch, the award-winning public affairs and issues program that runs across Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley radio stations. We want to give a big thank you to Brooke Anthony. For more information on Chloe and Lois Jewelry, visit chloeandlois.com. Of course, all links and information can be found in the description of this episode. Whether you've been listening for a while or you just joined us, thank you. You can find In Touch episodes new and old on your favorite streaming services like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. That and listen on demand with your Townsquare radio station and mobile app. Of course, you can still find all articles and audio under the In Touch tab on this radio station's app and website. And don't forget, we're also on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at InTouch_HV. If you like what we do here on In Touch and want to be on the show, let us know. Whether you have a topic you want to discuss or you want to be a guest, you can fill out the In Touch submission form, which can be found in the description of this episode. I've been your host, Conor Walsh. Until next time, stay curious, keep an open mind, and as always, I'm glad we get to spend some time.